Hi and welcome to another episode. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to create a randomized drum toolbox within Bitwig Studio. I got this idea from my Patreon called Kenton Sally. Okay, so let's go! Let's first go into the devices and create a drum machine. What I like about Bitwig Studio is that you can easily have some controlled chaos and randomness. So let's first add a sampler to our C1 key here. And we go into our devices, our samples, and we search for kick. Let's find some decent kicks. And now if we select maybe a few of these, and we drag all these into the sampler, we can expand the view for the sampler and select all these samples and make sure that they are on the C1 key. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Select all these first. Make sure they are on C1. We can drag them to place them on the same key. And now if we expand the view here, at the right side we can see the zones. And if we first select this little icon here, it's for the velocity, and you can do velocity splitting. But we're going to do selection splitting. So select all these and distribute select equally. And now if we press the kick key and drag the selection knob here, we can go through all the kicks within this single key. And how about that we randomize this selection? We will do that later, but first just increase the release time so we hear more of the sample. And go to the key D1 and also add a sampler. And let's do the same. Search for snares. And see if we can find. And select 8 different snares. Yeah, something like that. And drag them into this snare sample. Do the same thing, open up the multi-sample view. And make sure that all these are on the key D1, sorry. Select these and D1. Sorry, kitten. Okay. Okay, so now we have some snares on the same key here. Select all these, go into the zone view here, and select this star for the selection, and select all these and do the same thing, distribute select equally. And now we can do the same thing with the snares. And this is a pretty cool setup, because if we do a quick little drum programming here, expand this a little bit so we have something more to view. Maybe increase the BPM a little bit. Do a quick little programming. And double that up by pressing Command D. And this doesn't sound that interesting, so let's add some wicked modulation to this, wicked randomization. So let's first press this wrench icon to go and create our own preset page. You can close that window, and be sure to have your first sampler selected. Press this mapping icon and map it to the selection, and do the same thing for the second mapping and the select of the snare. And now again. Now we can add some randomization to this too. So go into our modulation and maybe add a step, the parsec 8. And now we can add for each step setup. So we do some different setups for each of these steps, and do the same thing with the snare. Let's do some different. And now we can also add a second modulator to have even more randomization. Add a random modulator and do some modulation to the snare. And make sure to disable this, so you only have one polarity for this randomness. And also add that to the kick maybe. Increase the tempo a little bit. Maybe we can do the same thing with some hi-hats. Let's try that out and see how it sounds. Add another sampler to this F#1, because that's usually where the hi-hats resides. and drag this to the multi-sample area. Go into the expanded view and drag all these to F#1. And go into the zone view and select all these. Go into the selection, right click and distribute select equally. And now we can do the same thing with the hi-hat. So let's add some programming with the hi-hat too. And remove that old loop, and yeah, we can actually drag it out so if we make changes to the first part here, it will also be changed in the second looping part. Do the same thing, map this controller to our selection of the hi-hat, and now we can so add that modulator, the randomness modulator, to the hi-hat. Maybe also increase the release time for the hi-hat and reduce the volume slightly. Maybe also add a macro and map this macro to all of the, let's see, all of the pitches. So we can control the pitching of the samples with a macro. Let's see. Maybe this one too, and snare too. So now we can and then you can also add further modulation to this pitch too, to have even more sick sounds. We can add a little bit of delay maybe. Reduce it slightly so it's not so long decay. A little bit of reverb on this too. To glue the drums together. And then after this we add, let's see, actually we can move this to the furthest right side here and add it to the complete package of our drum machine here. So let's press the effects section and drag them in here. And at the end of the chain we need some kind of compression to make sure the dynamics are within check. Maybe add a peak limiter too. And then for even more fun stuff, add a filter at the end of this chain. Or maybe add a leather filter. Yeah, as you can hear, you can really do some controlled chaos on your percussion and drums. Yeah, and this can also be used for, say, if you want to have a specific kicks or specific snares and select between those while playing back a drum loop. This is also an excellent drum toolbox to use. So let's rename this drum toolbox and drag this to our preset area and name it drum toolbox. And it's some drums toolbox as our tag, and save it. And now we can reload this and go into the drum machine here again and exchange samples if you want to have other types of kicks or other types of snares to select between or randomize between. I hope you found this little tutorial useful, and please subscribe if you're new here, and press the bell icon to get the notifications when I have new videos up. You can also consider becoming a Patreon and support future videos like this and joining my exclusive community. Thanks again for watching and have a nice week. Bye bye.